Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Terrifier 3. And this is the third film in this horror, very, very, very black comedy franchise from writer-director Damien Leone of Staten Island. And this film follows the story of Sienna, former victim of Art the Clown, who, gets out of a wellness center, is trying to have Christmas with her family that she has left, and Art the Clown and the dark, demented evil that creates him and follows him wreaks havoc yet again. And this film is so oppressively mean-spirited and just disgusting and disturbing in ways that feel so cheap and dirty. What's frustrating is there's moments in this film where you can really tell Leone's really leveraging building tension, building suspense, and building up to effective scares. And then just throws it all out the window to have obnoxiously long sequences of the most brutal, gore, bloody, just effed up approach to trying to scare people. And it comes off so cheap because you can shock people by, killing children, mutilating children, chopping them to bits, blowing them up. And yeah, you'll get a reaction out of people. But it feels so cheap. It's a horrible cliche of kill the dog. Yes, killing a dog will make people feel sad watching a movie, but it's a really cheap way to do it because it's going to get a reaction out of people without much of an effort. And trust me, I understand that they put in a lot of effort and a lot of practical effects. The practical effects are incredible. And there's certain things I can't take away from this film. There's definitely moments where it's clever with its dark humor. It's subversive with its creepy original Halloween, like a Christmas song about Art the Clown. I think its score really works. I think from a cinematography standpoint, it really captures that 60s into 70s grungy kind of horror holiday feel to it. Those things are impressive. And what's even more frustrating is how emotionally resonant and connected we are to Sienna, Lauren Lavera's character, who gives a fantastic performance. And you have David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown, who, is really doing a lot, bringing that character to life in the most sickly, demented kind of ways possible. And, of course, he's having a blast. But how this story plays out and what they choose to do to characters is so just oppressively mean-spirited to the point where, it's makes you want to not look at the screen. It makes you not want to watch the movie. And to make a wrestling analogy, which I feel like I can because Chris Jericho's in this movie, brutally gets murdered, is this movie creates X-Pac heat, where you're supposed to not like him because he's a bad guy on television, but he's doing it in such a cheap and manipulative way that you don't want to just hate him on screen. You want to turn it off. And that's how I felt watching this movie. It pushed buttons so hard and so obnoxiously and so drawn out that it makes you want to turn it off and not experience the experience of watching the film. And if a film's going that far and pushing people to do that, it's not accomplishing what it needs to do as a film. It's frustrating. And trust me, there's going to be a lot of people who go out and watch this movie and love every demented piece of it. This is so overly drawn out, ridiculous 2 hours and 5 minutes, which is 25 minutes shorter than the last one. And this still feels so drawn out and obnoxiously overlong. Every scene where they're desperately mutilating human flesh could have been cut down so much, and this movie could have been a lot leaner and a lot more effective in that way. And even from like a storytelling perspective, there's so many illogical things that happen, so many convenient things that happen, and there's no rhyme or reason or logic to the mythology around this character, and it just feels like they're making stuff up along the way so that you can keep this story going. And this doesn't even have a satisfying ending. It leaves you off in such a part one kind of feel where it's like, well, gotta wait for next time. And it obnoxiously is being like, you know you're gonna come back, right? And yeah, I watched this because I review films. Would I ever want to watch this on my own? No. This obscenely grotesque violence and gore is not my bag. And this film does it so with such reckless abandon. Like the opening scene, which you've probably heard a bunch of things about, is so messed up in terms of setting up very innocent characters that are genuine, and what the film does to them is horrific. And it's not in a storytelling perspective. It's just, it comes off feeling so mean-spirited. And by the end of this film, I felt disgusted after watching it. And I just walked out of the theater just so disappointed in what I just sat through. And that's not the kind of reaction that a horror film should have. You should have that adrenaline and feel like you just had that high of being scared for 2 hours and 5 minutes. And that's not the reaction this film got out of me. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of people who appreciate the dark humor about it. Sure, there were some funny moments, but there's also moments that are so bleak and desperately dark and emotional that tonally this film is so all over the place and does not handle those tonal shifts well. And in the end, this is going to be a very divisive film, and there will be people that this is right up their alley. Go enjoy it. If you have any semblance of not being obsessed with the absolute mutilation of innocent human beings, then this is going to get an uncomfortable visceral reaction out of you that's going to turn you off from wanting to finish the movie. But those are my thoughts on Terrifier 3. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.